everyone, it's Miss Catherine. I'm sitting here in my living room and I thought I would read you a story. It's called Franklin Plants a Tree. Later this month, we will be celebrating Earth Day. And on Earth Day, we talk about taking care of our planet, and lots of people will plant trees. So this I thought might be the perfect book for spring and to celebrate Earth Day. Franklin plants a tree. Franklin could climb trees and swing from branches. He liked to play with his friends at the treehouse and go for walks with his family in the woods. So Franklin was excited when he learned that Mr. Heron was giving away trees for Earth Day. He could hardly wait to have his own tree in his own backyard. On Earth Day, Franklin got up early and dug a huge hole right outside his bedroom window. He wanted to plant a tree as soon as he got it home. Tonight, he'd invite his friends over to build a new treehouse. Tomorrow, he'd look at an old tire and make a swing. Franklin grabbed his wagon and hurried off. He didn't want all the big trees to be taken. In the park, a large crowd was lined up in front of Mr. Heron. Franklin saw lots of boxes, but he didn't see the trees. Maybe they're not here yet, he thought. And then he saw Rabbit leaving. "Don't you want a tree?" Franklin asked. "I have one," Rabbit replied, tapping his knapsack. Franklin was confused. Rabbit reached into his knapsack and pulled out a tiny tree. "That's not a tree," Franklin exclaimed. "That's a twig." "It's a baby tree," Franklin explained Beaver. "It's called a sapling. Mine's an ash and Rabbit has an oak." "Well, I'm not getting a sapling," Franklin declared. "And my tree has to be big enough to play in today." But when Franklin got to the front of the line, Mr. Heron gave him a sapling and the same size as the others. "Could I have something bigger?" he asked. "This is a sugar maple," replied Mr. Heron. "Many years from now, it will be very big indeed." Franklin nodded sadly. He put the sapling in his wagon and walked slowly home.
What are you guys reading?
Franklin sighed as he stared at the huge hole in his backyard. He shoveled earth back in until the hole was small, and then he went to get a sugar maple, but the sapling wasn't there. Franklin looked all around the garden and up and down the lane. It must have fallen out on the way home, he decided. At lunchtime, Franklin told his parents about losing his tree. "But it doesn't matter," he added. "It wasn't big enough to play in." "Big or little, you promised to care for it," said his father. Franklin slumped down in his chair. "All right," he sighed. "I'll go look again." Franklin followed the path back to the park. By the pond, he saw Beaver. Her sapling was tied to a big stick marked with notches. "It's a growth chart," Beaver explained. "In 3 years, my tree will be taller than me." Thought Franklin, and he began to look a little harder. In the meadow, Franklin saw Rabbit with a watering can. "I've planted my sapling where it can get lots of fresh air and sunshine," explained Rabbit, "and I'm going to water it every day," he added. Franklin thought about his sugar maple. If it didn't get sunshine and fresh air and water, it would never be taller than him. Franklin started to hurry. Near in the woods, Franklin saw a bear painting a small fence bright and red. Inside it was Bear's sapling. "This will protect my pine tree until it's big and strong," he explained. "I don't want anyone to step on it by mistake." Franklin thought about someone stepping on his sugar maple. If that happened, it would never grow big and strong and be taller than him. Franklin told Bear everything. "I've looked all over," Franklin moaned. "Now what do I do?" "Maybe someone found your tree and gave it back to Mr. Heron," Bear suggested. Franklin cheered up and ran off to find Mr. Heron. Back at the park, Franklin saw Mr. Heron packing up boxes. "How's your sapling doing in its new home?" he asked. "I lost my tree, Mr. Heron," Franklin replied. "I've looked everywhere, but I can't find it." Mr. Heron reached into a box and lifted out a sapling. "Is this it, Franklin?" he asked. "Someone found it on the path." My tree, cried Franklin. Thank you, Mr. Heron. I'm going to plant it right away. Mr. Heron smiled. Before Franklin left, Mr. Heron showed him a photograph. That's me when I was your age, he explained, planting my first tree. Did it grow? Franklin asked. It sure did, Mr. Heron laughed. We're standing under it. Franklin looked way up. You planted the tree house tree, he exclaimed. Then Franklin looked down at his sampling. He said thoughtfully. Franklin hurried home, his sapling held safely in his arms. He planted it and watered it, and then he checked on it every day. And every day Franklin was sure that his tree grew a little taller and a little stronger, just like Franklin. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.